attention to the camera at the same time as I'm trying to combine. It's been cloudy and cool all day long, so I didn't get started combining here until it's about 5 o'clock here right now, so I'm just trying it out to see. It seems to be going through better than last night, as you can see by the last few rounds I made last night. The straw was extremely tough. Plugged the table auger several times, and that's no fun, I can tell you. It's better than the John Deere, but still, it's I just as soon not do it. Very hard on the combine. It's a big bang when the concave feels those lumps of canola hit it. There's just no way to feed them in slow enough. Anyway, we're getting down to the last little bit on this half section. There's 1/4 left. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 acres on it. This is hard to do with one hand, obviously. Some of you guys do it, but anyway. And I'm not quite going to make that corner. Oh, maybe I am. One thing I should say, having worked both machines in the same field, on the same crop, the same day even, the John Deere pull type, as good a machine as it is, there's really no substitute for a self-propel. That's so much better maneuverability, visibility. You've got your hydro here, infinitely variable speeds on the lever. You can sneak up to these big lumps of swath and most of the time feed them in so they don't plug the table. See, I got one pickup belt down there just about ready to fall off. It's getting a little bit worse every passing hour. I got a new one in the truck, but I'm not going to stop to install it now as long as this one keeps going. Anyway, more to come later. Hopefully the sun comes out, but at 5 o'clock there's very little sunlight left. And I am quarter tank of fuel. I didn't have any fuel left over here today, so I didn't think it was worth filling up at this time of day. Busy moving canola home all day. I moved about 1,000 bushels home. We're not going to have a lot of room to spare over here. Hopefully now we'll have enough. The crop is yielding extremely well. I'm not going to give any numbers, obviously, but I'm well impressed with it. And there comes one. You got to sneak up on these swapper piles and feed them in. Most of the time it works. The odd time it doesn't. The table auger will stop, and that's a big one. Good. Anyway, when that table auger stops, the original reverser on this machine, it used to work many years ago, but it hasn't worked for years, so the reverser now is a great long, about a 4-foot lever that I have to get out there and turn the feeder house backwards. It works pretty well. Way better than the John Deere. John Deere, you can reverse the header auger with a lever supplied, but that doesn't do a thing for the feeder house, because you can reverse the auger all you want with a lever, but the feeder house won't turn because the belts loosen up as soon as you try to turn backwards. So you need an extra helper there to lean on the belt and tighten it up so that things will turn backwards and you can clear the pile of plugged canola inside there. We've had to do that a few times, way too many times. And it's basically why I'm back on the International, that it's harder to plug and easier to unplug. Anytime I can avoid shutting down and getting out of this cab, that seems to be just fine. Sort of see the first round I made here, the straw is breaking up pretty fair. The last few rounds I made last night, the straw was so tough that it was hardly even breaking up going through the combine. So by 10 o'clock I shut her down, it just wasn't working. Anyway, more to follow. Okay, finished off that little piece. Got a nice pile of canola in there. There is a narrow strip running north and south here. I gotta finish off, and then I can move up north to the next quarter on this section, which I'm guessing there's about 70 acres left to go there. So in a perfect world, that'd be a couple of days work, but in these swaths, it's gonna take a little longer. Anyway, we are running out of daylight here. It is 5:45, I believe. So my truck driver's on the way. To be continued. Okay, here's one of the biggest advantages to the self-propelled. The unloading process. Not lined up very well, but it's so easy to see compared to the pull type. Gotta get a bit of red in the sunset. So here we sit up nice and high, looking down into the truck, seeing everything that's going on, and it's right beside me. Whereas on the pull type, I'm 20 feet up ahead and I'm much lower down. I can't see into the truck box at all. So quite often I'd have to get my truck driver to stand up on the running board with a flashlight to actually tell me what's going on. And there was more than a few times I ran grain onto the ground. Looking good. Should be a good day tomorrow. Okay, as you can see, I'm back in the 7721 on the Magnum. The 1660 was getting dangerously low on fuel, so I finished the field I was working on and said, well, this one's got a full tank of fuel. Let's see what it'll do. I have to say, it will handle a big swath faster than the 1660 will, because 1.6 miles an hour is as slow as this will go in first gear, and there's been a good many times I've been reaching down for a lower gear and all I had left was neutral. So yeah, I'm stepping on the clutch here sometimes, but as long as we can avoid the big bumps in the swath, I can roll right along pretty good here. It's getting on for 8 o'clock. Not seeing much on the screen here, are we? I really got to pay attention to what I'm doing, so I'll make this brief. Uh-oh, here we go. Looks like we're alright. Alright, I better cut this short and pay attention, or I'll be out there unplugging the auger.